In this video, I'll share 7 strategies you can use to increase engagement in your talk or workshop. The first may sound unpopular, but it is highly effective. Acknowledge the elephant in the room. Now, I used this strategy one time when I was talking to a group of corporate leaders and nobody would answer any of my questions. I was met with radio silence at every turn, even after I tried to be friendly. So I recognized, as you always should when you're giving a talk, that we're talking with adults. And I said, okay, we're all here for a reason, and nobody is interested in talking about things. And I'm feeling some hesitance. I can tell, I was like, we all know it. Every single one of us here can acknowledge that there's some tension here. And tell me about that. What's going on? I want to know. And that leads me to the number one strategy, which is build trust. There are many reasons why an audience may not trust you yet. First off, the culture of the group that you're talking to makes a huge difference. So if you're talking in some sort of organization that has a very top-down structure and doesn't encourage a lot of dialogue, you could be in a tough position. That being said, you are the facilitator of your time together, so it's up to you to set a tone of safety. One way to build trust is to tell a story. Storytelling is always a powerful way to connect with people emotionally and let them recognize that you might be vulnerable too. I think if people assume that you're expecting them to be perfect, they're not going to say anything. Another thing to think about is, have you made your content relevant to your learner? This may sound obvious, but a lot of content creators try too hard to prove themselves and think that they need to solve all of their learners' problems. Instead, think about what you were like 3 or maybe up to 5 years ago and speak to the needs that you had then. Often that's exactly where your people are. The next strategy is a great one for presenting to groups that aren't going to see each other again. Create a low stakes ask. I use this as an introduction when I'm leading a webinar, say, for people who are only going to meet one time. I'll start off by saying, give one word that describes your day so far. It's an easy ask. It's low stakes. It's not overwhelming. People can come up with one word. How much content are you providing? The number one issue that content creators have when they're putting together a workshop is they try to cram in too much content. Trust me, I get this. For every class I develop, I start out with significantly too much. The final strategy applies if you have a lot of students. If you can break them into smaller groups, they're going to feel more comfortable talking to each other. And there are a lot of ways you can do this. If you're speaking to a group in person, you might have people pair up first and then share with the whole group. You might arrange the tables in the room beforehand in rounds so that they're naturally in smaller groups. And if you're working on Zoom, learn how to feel comfortable using the breakout feature. I hope you find this helpful. Good luck with that next talk of yours.